Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I'm happy to be speaking when you're presiding over there. I get up to speak at a very important two ministries that have been taken up today. I would like to take Sri Lanka to the tech world, into the world itself, and as a result, I would like to quote certain examples that are there in the fast developing world, which is relevant to the field that we are speaking today. This is two very futuristic ministries. You can see that this can propel the country to a rapid recovery process. After all, Sri Lanka went through some very traumatic times, and it's time that we pull ourselves together and take it forward. May I, Honourable Deputy Speaker, show how disconnected we are from the world. I recently just saw the military expenditure in the world of 10 countries, and they happen to be the US, which is $811 billion US dollars, China $298 billion US dollars, India 81 billion, likewise the 10 companies in Saudi, Russia, United Kingdom, Germany, France, Japan and South Korea tantamount to 1,625 billion US dollars. Now, why did I quote that? I only wanted to show what amount of military expenditure takes place in this world and how we as a country, how we are surviving just to get $16 million in order to ensure that we are kept afloat. The digital ministry මේ අමාත්‍යාංශයට බිලියන් 13.5යි. මේ පුනරාවර්තන වියදමට බිලියන් 7.5යි, ප්‍රාග්ධන වියදම් වල බිලියන් 6යි. එතකොට science and technology වලට බිලියන් 5ක් වියදම් කරනකොට පුනරාවර්තන වියදමට බිලියන් 2.8යි, ප්‍රාග්ධන වියදම 2.2යි. So in a 8.7 trillion expenditure that is there, research and digitalization basically is 0.0001%. Now, why basically if you look at the expenditure that is there on the military expenditure world, why on earth are such harmful expenditure being made at this moment when 212 countries, and I'm sure 90% of the countries are faced with the same predicament that we are in. World is becoming frightfully tech-freak world. Human element is fast being replaced by technology. Artificial intelligence, Grok 3, you name it. My IT knowledge or the tech knowledge is not as savvy as what the people that are here who are leading this particular place. But certainly I thought, from my financial background and my past practice, I thought I'll contribute in order to ensure that we basically look at, able to take this knowledge into a better tomorrow. We must use technology for advancement to make people's life happier, more secure and more quality time oriented. But is this the case? It is not the case that is happening. So on this particular basis, we must ensure that we utilize this knowledge to get Sri Lanka to a better tomorrow. Science and technology cannot replace biology. They can enhance our understanding of our application of biological principles, but cannot substitute it. Human being cannot and won't be substituted. A man or a woman, how can you have robotics coming and replacing? That won't be the case. A man would be a man, a lady would be a lady. A child, no way what you can do. A child will be born, this can't be replaced by robotics. Man can be sent to the moon, but a man has a nature call, he has to answer the call. You can't have technology short circuit in that. Government has to be run humanly. You can't have artificial intelligence to run governments. So all I want to show, there is a human element that cannot be substituted. But technology can be brought in to substitute between or to supplant between the areas of the deficiency. I call the government expenditure on digital economy and science and technology should be fully tax exempted. Unfortunately, I don't see that. With the IMF that has basically given a prescription and thinking that's panacea for all this is not the case. I would basically call upon the government and the minister to ensure that we have the tax deducted fully on such expenditure, whether it's research and development, whether it's digital software, whether it's royalty, whether it's capital expenditure on hardware, whether it's cost of labor, whatever it is, we need to have this fully exempted. Or even to the extent, like when I was finance minister, we gave certain qualifying expenditure, which was 200 to 300%, in order to boost the expenditure on this particular area. Or an expenditure-based tax deduction. Why I mention this is the way the direction the country should basically go. 3 to 4, 5% research and development, are the hallmarks of successful governments that have moved this from what it was to what it is today. Korea, USA, India, UK, Singapore have been the success stories of this. So we must be able to emulate such strategic decisions that have been made, because the expenditure made in research and development may sometimes be 60% right, 40% may go away. But that is the investment that needs to be made in today's context. Honourable Deputy Speaker, my intention here is to show, while Sri Lanka has been 77 years in independence, have we really managed to get economic independence? Now we have lost out on many. We had missed opportunities. In 52, we lost on a Sinhala-only policy that was there when we should have been able to embrace Sinhala, Tamil and English and get into the world. Then in 1977, thanks to Jaya Jayawardena, we managed to get in the open economy. But there are again distortions of that. Reinterpretation in various ways has given a distorted approach. And we basically virtually missed the opportunity at that moment. Then digitization. These are loosely used words, but whether we are having the competence to ensure that we take this technology so that what we have lost out could be caught up by a younger generation that is coming to give leadership into the future. Now, Deputy Speaker, while mentioning this, I want to ensure that we must have sincerity and purpose of able to get this done. Now, while we are explaining that we would like to see 3, 4, 5% of research and development, and ensuring that 0.01% is expended from the budget to such a thing won't walk the talk. Now, why do we want to have such digitization or digital platform of digital economy? We need to have a national digital infrastructure development, create the backbone, then also get in the mindset of the people attuned to the changing world. Because there is a resentment that development is basically moving away from the normal traditional approach. Now that is the wrong notion. We must be able to take that risk and take it to the unknown world. Otherwise we'll be like frogs in the well that we are not able to see the rest of the world. We must see success stories, not for the sake of speaking, that we have got to do. Then in order to have the national digital infrastructure development, we need to have the backbone that has got to be done with high-speed internet expressions, ensure the 5G concepts that are there and take it forward. National data centers and cloud adoption, these are the areas that we can take it to a better tomorrow. Then the e-governance and digital public service. I think this is a singular success story that we need to basically take our country forward. India, with the Aadhaar system, that's a unique identification number that was there in India, transformed India from a backward-looking India to a very forward, high-moving country that is into the world. And Prime Minister Modi, with his sagacity, managed to ensure that a backward India has been pushed to a very transformation-oriented country into the future. Now, when I was Finance Minister in 2015, under the auspices of the Prime Minister then, Mr. Wickremesinghe, and President Maithripala Sirisena, we tried our very best in order to bring the unique identification system. But the stiff resistance that came from the government, the bureaucracy, basically defeated the purpose. And I call upon the government, while the enthusiasm is there, the words are spoken. If you don't walk the talk, it will be the same story that history will basically say, we tried, but there was no participation in the process. So I'm calling upon the government to ensure that let us put the money where our mouth is and let us ensure that we basically take this and ensure the unique identification number is brought into the process. This process will certainly ensure social cost that today is being misused. Today when you talk of Aswasuma, there are 2.3 million families, but do they rightfully, who should really get is not getting, and who shouldn't get is getting it. So that's the reason why this digitization process will certainly help to eradicate layers of inefficiency and corruption in the process. So let's ensure that we have that. Then the next one, Deputy Speaker, we must ensure that the paperless government. Now this has been spoken for the last 15 years. Not that these are unknown, but it's simply not being looked at. And I'm happy that there is a fairly knowledgeable team that is there taking it forward. Ensure that this is taken to the next opportunity. Don't allow the bureaucracy itself to take that decision. Politically, it has to be led. There can be out of 10 things, 9 may be right, 1 may be wrong. But you have to dare the system. If you sit back and expect everything to happen, it will never happen. And I'm talking with experience on this. So paperless government is absolutely necessary. Implement a blockchain-based governance for secure and transparent document management. We are talking of artificial intelligence. Ensure that we basically take the advantage. Look at Donald Trump. He basically got elected on the 21st of January 3 months ago, and today with the Department of Government Efficiency under Elon Musk, he is basically transforming a sense of urgency to cut 2 trillion expenditure. Now that 2 trillion expenditure is not only pruning down costs that are relevant, but also putting the required, the money that is so dearly required into more efficient areas that are there. So this is the other one that this government must basically look at. Look at 8.7 million, even though expenditure, 8.7 trillion is the expenditure that is there for this budget, the relevant capital expenditure is only 1.3 trillion. And also on the basis of actual application and implementation process, we have already lost 3 months in the process. We are already in March. So, Honourable Deputy Speaker, my intention is to ensure, while the enthusiasm and the way forward is known, you have got to ensure it is taken to the implementation process as soon as possible. Then, on the basis of connected digital government, now this is something which basically needs to be done yesterday and not tomorrow. I am taking a classic example on the areas of exports. This is the area where we have a lot of problems that are there. The ASICUDA system is something that can unite all the government departments and the processors together. Unfortunately, customs, the export licenses, the certificate of origin from the Department of Commerce, the banks don't synchronize and work together. So I'm sure the Deputy Minister, who's very knowledgeable, and also the Minister that is basically leading it, please ensure that you cut the red tape that is there. Bureaucracy wants political leadership, because if they do a thing in the right direction and if it goes wrong, they feel that they have a worry that they have come before the FCIDU or something like that. These are people who have gone through with this harassment. So we must ensure that we give them a freedom to ensure that they are able to deliver on the basis of how we are going to go forward. Now another area that we are going to look at, during Corona, Deputy Speaker, the country was functional, even though the country was closed for 5-6 months. So it just shows the human intervention is required where necessary, but it's not necessary everywhere.